I think it was about a month ago when I made a video on the Eagles, and I said Nick Sirianni is making the Eagles the most frustrating team or the most frustrating good team in the NFL. And about a month later, as the Eagles sit at 7-2, the fact remains the same. Despite being 7-2, and I know this is going to sound ridiculous to say, but we have to see the forest through the trees here, as they say. Process-wise, he is one of the worst coaches in the NFL. And I'm done blaming the offensive coordinators because the offensive coordinators come and go, and the fact of the matter is when he's in charge of the play calling, the offense generally stinks, and the select few years and the time where he isn't in charge, the offense is good. So let's use common sense, read the tea leaves, and arrive at a conclusion here, and I'll tell you how to arrive at that conclusion. I don't know what Nick Sirianni does. He's not in charge of the defense. He's not in charge of the offense, even though he's kind of in charge. But he doesn't call plays. So what does he do? It's his job of keeping the culture of the locker room together. Well, you have one of the best receivers in the NFL in A.J. Brown, and you seemingly can't get him the ball. He had 2 catches for like 13 yards tonight. Targeted the first 2 or so plays of the game. Nothing the rest of the game. Couldn't get anything going after the first drive. Typical, after you have the first 15 scripted plays, the Eagles just run out of ideas. They become increasingly predictable. 2nd and long runs, 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9. You're going to run a pass play? Nope. Anytime they run a pass play, it's that stupid little RPO to Goddard. They barely target their wide receivers. They had some success running play action pass to Goddard and Calcaterra. Jalen Hurts missed him. Calcaterra, that is, on the 1. And I just don't understand why he continues to coach like Justin Fields or Tim Tebow as his quarterback. He is so afraid of the quarterback making a mistake. Like, you look at their third down percentage and their conversion rate, and I think they were coming into they were 30th in the league. And I'm surprised they're not last, considering on half their third downs, they don't even try and convert the third down. It'll be like 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 9, and they'll run a draw. You're not up 24 points. You're up 3, or you're up 7 or 10. Why are you doing this? It's terrible. And I'll get to the 4th down play at the end. But again, I ask, what is it that Nick Sirianni does well? And don't be one of those people and I'm one of these people that criticizes this too, because it's a faulty logic of thinking. But if you're gonna criticize the people that say Jalen Hurts just wins and ignore his play when he doesn't play well, then I want you to apply that same logic to Nick Sirianni, because guess what? He did not coach well at all today, and the Eagles won. So I don't want to hear what does Nick Sirianni do well for this team? Oh, he wins Super Bowls. He wins. Well, they won in spite of him tonight and many other nights and days. Because tonight the offense was a disaster. He's conservative when he shouldn't be. He's aggressive when he shouldn't be. There's no rhyme or reason to his decision making. And the 4th down and 5 play at the end of the game, now he went on to explain this in the post-game press conference, and he said it wasn't really, going up 6 there meant nothing. And he's kind of reliving that Atlanta game from last year, week 2, when they kicked the field goal to go up 6, and then the Falcons drove down the field. And he's absolutely right that going up 6 there meant nothing. But that doesn't mean that you have to go for it. That doesn't mean that you have to kick the field goal. Nobody's blaming you for not kicking the field goal. Just punt the ball away. You would have pinned the Packers deep. They would have had to get an extra 20, 25 yards. And they had no timeouts. Instead, you gifted them the ball. And they were 1 pass interference or 1 big catch away from potentially tying the game. The fact that it even came down to that is pathetic. I would blame the defense for giving up a drive too quickly, but they played out of their minds tonight. Jalen Phillips was great. Jalix Hunt was great. Moro Ojomo was great. They were all great. The offense is just consistently horrible. And look, I know the Packers have a great defense. They held the Lions. Remember week 1, they held the Lions to like 13 points, and I think there was a touchdown in garbage time, and everybody was, singing their praises, and they were writing the Lions off. So the Packers do have a good defense. But the Eagles consistently, week after week, are just terrible. Running an offense should not be this hard, and I say it every time. There was a sequence in the game where they were sitting on two consecutive 8-yard dig routes to A.J. Brown. They made no effort to get the ball to A.J. in the middle of the field, as opposed to what they did with Devontae last week. This is a perfect example. Is how do you get A.J. Brown back fresh? I don't want to say fresh off an injury because he was injured, but he was presumably good to go this week, healthy enough to play, off a bye week. You get him back in addition to Devontae Smith, and your offense looks worse process-wise. I don't even think you targeted him until that 4th and 5 play where you shouldn't have even gone for it after the first quarter. I don't think there was any targets in between. It was just a terrible game process-wise. Now, Jalen missed a few throws. I will say, Jalen, he's been taking one of his weaknesses. He has a high sack percentage. Against Micah Parsons, he got the ball out quick, no sacks. I can't remember the last time he played a complete game without even taking a sack. So that was very good. But again, and if you want to blame Jalen for some of the throws he missed and not seeing some guys open at times, that's fine. I won't hold you to that. But the coach continues to be the biggest problem. Continues to be. And I don't care that he won the Super Bowl. I wouldn't care if he won the Super Bowl this year because I would still want him fired. He doesn't do anything well. He provides nothing of value to this football team except maybe some inspirational locker room speeches. But they continuously don't look prepared to play. How many times do they get to the line of scrimmage and Jalen is clapping with 2 seconds left on the clock? They're barely getting into their sets quick enough. There's delay of game penalties. This shouldn't happen, especially with the veteran O-linemen they have. Second down and 8, second down and 7. Let's run the ball under center. Teams know your tendencies. You're not even trying to throw the ball. They don't play to win. They play not to make mistakes. Instead of trying to score, they play to get down to 3rd and manageable. Because if it's 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 6, well, then they're not even going to try. Look what happened at the end of the game on the drive that should have salted the game away. They converted a 3rd and 12. Now, they got the 3rd and 12 because they had a horrible second down play call and they blew the play up. But 3rd and 12, Jalen's back to pass. The Packers know that he has to pass, and he still converted a beautiful ball to Devontae Smith. The touchdown to Devontae Smith. Jalen just throws it up, gives him a chance. Why is it so hard? Jalen Hurts has 1 interception on the year. 1 interception. And they coach like they've been burnt by his turnovers all year long, and I don't understand it. It's football. Quarterbacks are going to turn the ball over. You have to let him throw. It's just ridiculous. And even at 7-2, look, I hate to be the fan that it's I'm not even happy after a win, but if you're trying to win a Super Bowl, then that kind of performance cannot continue. It's not good enough. And if they lost that game after Nick Sirianni decided to go for that 4th and 5, thank God I don't have to live in that reality. But he is just not good enough week after week. And now let's see what comments we get from AJ this week, because he only had 2 catches on 2 targets, I think, or 3 targets, I'm sorry. The last one was pathetic. It was just a heave, trying to get a pass interference. He barely made an effort. That's another thing. He's totally checked out. If Nick Sirianni is so good at, being this manager of personalities, well, guess what? Nick Sirianni is actively on his way to forcing out the best wide receiver in franchise history. Because if Nick Sirianni, A.J. Brown might be gone regardless, but if Nick Sirianni is here next year, A.J. Brown's not going to sign up for this bullshit again. He's going to ask to be traded. He doesn't want to watch this pathetic offense. And stop telling me it's Jalen Hurts' fault. It's not. I'm not even an Eagles fan that thinks Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback. If you can't build a good offense around Jalen Hurts and this supporting cast, then you're not a good enough coach. Plain and simple. They don't have Kellen Moore to bail them out anymore. They have Kevin Patullo, Nick Sirianni's goofy-ass buddy, who's not good at his job either. But I'm not blaming him anymore because it's Sirianni's fault. It's the head of the snake that needs to be called out. So it's good enough for now. Now they play the Lions at home next week. They got a lot to work on. The offense needs to be a lot better. The defense is great. No complaints there. Vic Fangio is great. He's better than Sean Desai. That's why I'm not worried about a 2023 style collapse. But the offense has got to get it together. And if they flame out and don't get to the NFC Championship game in the Super Bowl or whatever, and it keeps looking like this, where the best receiver, when they're not even targeting him, then it's total malpractice and there needs to be a change. But we'll worry about that another day. For now, the Eagles win. And am I satisfied? No. Am I happy? No. Am I relieved? Maybe. I'll see you next time.